If you thought the last few updates were big, the next patches might actually shake Genshin's entire meta. With Durin's release only days away and a wave of new information about Columbina, upcoming buffs, and several future characters, it feels like the game is gearing up for one of its most power-creeping eras. Before we dive into everything, make sure to subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel, and you don't want to miss the madness coming over the next versions. Starting with Columbina, she is now firmly described as an off-field hydro damage dealer using a catalyst, and her entire kit seems built around high HP scaling. The interesting part is how her burst creates a field that gives your active character a substantial lunar damage bonus, and depending on which lunar reaction triggers, the buff changes. Lunar Charge gets faster Thundercloud attack speed. Lunar Bloom gets its verdant stacks boosted all the way to 6, making characters like Nefe and Lauma practically never run out of their due stacks, and an expected Lunar Crystallize buff should make her even more flexible. She also offers interruption resistance similar to Raiden's Shogun for smoother combos, especially in teams where dash canceling usually gets interrupted. Although she doesn't provide healing or shields, the strength of her buffs and the consistent off-field damage more than make up for it. One important detail is that she cannot trigger Lunar Charge or Lunar Bloom alone, so she will need characters like Aino, Lauma, Nefe, or Flins to activate the reactions, though her constellations may change that. Speaking of cons, early info suggests HP and crit damage buffs at C1 and C2 that could even unlock her potential as an on-field DPS. We also learned more about the White Adeptus, whose official name may change, but the bigger takeaway is that she's a DEF scaling sword main DPS built around triggering Lunar Crystallize and stacking damage through consistent Crystallize procs. This makes her unique but also tricky, since regular ATK buffers won't help her much, and even formerly top Geo supports like Albedo, Bennett, or Fiorina might not synergize with her at all. Her best teams supposedly include Columbina, Durin, and Xilonen, but we'll get a clearer view once closed beta testing gets closer. Alongside her, we'll receive a free 4-star selector that includes the new Lantern Rite Geo DPS, plus a new artifact domain offering 2 sets. One buffing Hexenzirkel characters with crit damage, and another tailor-made for Columbina to maximize her off-field damage. Banner-wise, Columbina is expected first, followed by the White Adeptus. Escoffier and Skirk should also get reruns. Nuvalet is rumored for 6.4 alongside his new limited skin, but Hoyoverse historically never releases a skin and a rerun in the same patch, 6.4, so his date might still shift. What seems more certain is that version 6.4 will feature both Mavwika and Varka, making it one of the most stacked patches we've ever seen. Varka is speculated to be an Anemo Claymore DPS with synergies tied to Hexenzirkel members, potentially gaining buffs based on how many are in the party. His gameplay is expected to revolve around heavy Anemo damage supported by characters like Farazan, Venti, or C4 Jean. Considering how weak our current Anemo DPS options are, Varka might become a must-pull simply because the element desperately needs someone who can compete with modern power levels. Following Varka, another female 5-star Anemo support is rumored to appear, possibly introducing Lunar Swirl, which could instantly make her best in-slot for future Anemo DPS teams. Both 6.3 and 6.4 look absolutely stacked, and even with extra Lantern Rite rewards, most players will need to start saving early. Meanwhile, the recent livestream has made Nicole and Alice seem far more likely to be future playable characters, with Nicole appearing to be Pyro-aligned. Many players now expect them to form a strong mono-pyro or overload duo, especially since characters like Klee, Fischl, Venti, and Durin already lean heavily into those archetypes, instead of more melt-a-vape pyro units, which we already have in monsters like Arlecchino and Mavwika. Mono-pyro actually makes far more sense for the direction the Hexenzirkel cast is heading. And finally, while 6.2's lineup with Durin, Varessa, and Xilonen is exciting, many players might end up saving simply because the following patches have too many must-pull characters. A future-proof Geo DPS, a potentially meta-defining Anemo DPS in Varka, a new Anemo support creating Lunar Swirl, and Columbina, who already looks like a stronger Fiorina with heavier team buffs, make this entire stretch of updates extremely resource-draining. If this breakdown helped you understand the upcoming chaos, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next updates. We've got a lot more to talk about as we get closer to these versions.